Aloha, my name is Zico Quintana. I work in the horticulture department at Limahuli Garden and Preserve of the National Tropical Botanical Garden here on Kauai. Koaiʻa is a fabulous plant for many reasons. It is endemic, meaning it's only found here. It's an acacia, which many people around the world know and are familiar with for its beautiful hardwood, used in anything from instruments to furniture. Here we love it especially because of the role that it plays in our forests. It's one of the largest native forest trees, largest native hardwoods, and it serves as a great host to native lichens and insects. One of our two native butterflies actually is hosted on koa, the koa butterfly and the koa beetles. So we have a very soft spot in our hearts for this plant. Since koaiʻa can get quite large over time, giving it some place with a little bit of space would be good. They do handle pruning with proper technique, so if you are short-ish on space, you could make it work just with careful pruning and consideration of the depth of roots. Somewhere with full sun, ample room to grow, and some partner plants, of course, would make this koaiʻa very happy in any yard. So while this is a very cute plant as it is now, the leaves will actually not look like this for very long. As the plant matures, it loses these true leaves and grows what we most people associate with koaiʻa and with koa, which is the phyllodes, those crescent-shaped, silvery, pendant or dangling leaves. So as they mature, they'll lose these leaves, they'll get those phyllodes, and they have these gorgeous yellow puffball flowers and similarly gorgeous brown seed pods. They can be, depending on the light conditions and the soil, they can grow to be anywhere from 15 to 30 plus feet, but generally on that 15 to 20 foot range at the lower end. Yeah. Koaiʻa enjoy full sun pretty much as you can give it, as long as there is ample irrigation to go with that. While getting established, koaiʻa do need as much water as any other plant, so I recommend a full dousing every other day, as long as you have relatively well-draining soils, typical on Kauai. But once it's established, after about a month or so, or when you see a flush of new growth, you can reduce that watering and then just pay attention to make sure that the leaves aren't browning or wilting too much. But they are a relatively drought-tolerant plant that can grow from sea level to 3,000 plus feet. They tend to prefer the drier side. Well, as a member of the bean family Fabaceae, they don't have a tremendous amount of nutrient requirements. They produce their own nitrogen. If you're really akamai about your plant care, you might want to look at your soil pH and just make sure that it's as balanced as can. Especially if you were growing this in places that were former sugarcane. But again, as a bean, it will do plenty of soil remediation on its own. So as far as nutrients, it's a pretty low requirement plant. It is vulnerable to a few pests and pathogens. Most notable and most prominent in most people's gardens is going to be the twig borer beetle. So as this tree matures, it'll get those woody stems that are very attractive to twig borer beetles. If you notice your longer limbs dying back and all the lower limbs seems to be doing fine. If you notice that the older, longer limbs are dying back at the tips, while the lower branches are still doing fine, it's possible that you're experiencing twig borer beetle damage. In that case, you can prune off that dying wood back to the green wood and paint over that with some pruner's paint. You can also use a systemic insecticide if you're open to that to prevent them from doing further damage. But generally speaking, as long as the tree is healthy, it can handle that little bit of damage. A healthy tree is a happy tree, and a healthy and happy tree is a resilient tree. So as your koaiʻa matures, you'll see the beautiful yellow flowers, and they produce abundant seed that are actually relatively easy to grow on your own. So it's a great plant to have in your yard so that you can propagate your own native plants and share them with your friends and family.